Alright, here we go. All of the Zorozlab events in 2021. Not gonna lie, just like 2015, this was one of the smaller years for the Zorozlab events, ranging from both Zorozlab 2 and 3 respectively. In total, in 2021, if you combine both labs, there were 13 events total in Zorozlab 2, and 2 events in Zorozlab 3. Yeah, that's the exact same amount of events in 2015 if you combine both the original Zorozlab and Zorozlab 2 in that same year. Yep, that is still the exact same amount of events. My god. I will admit, that's actually, from today's standards, that is really weak. Because I've gotten so much better at the events. But my god, only 13 events total in Zorozlab 2 and only 2 of them in Zorozlab 3? Wow. That's actually really crazy. Now, hold on. We did have some pretty cool events, though. I did get a creative with a lot of them. Some of them being the following: the epic 6th anniversary party for Zorozlab, the 5-year anniversary of Lab of Doom, one of the most epic fair events ever held to celebrate the return of the Zorozlab 2 theme park, the Summer Jam Ultimate, combining both the Summer Jam and Underwater Expedition all into one event. I'll always remember that one, being epic as heck. A Halloween party based off of trick-or-treating. It was about time we did that. Celebrating Zorozlab 2 finally being fully rebuilt. Going back in time to older versions of Zorozlab 2 and 3 in Operation Zorozlab. And even our biggest Christmas party ever, where the entire world of Zorozlab 2 was decorated for Christmas. Well, yes, there weren't that many events in Zorozlab 2 and 3 in 2021. I will admit, they were still really freaking creative for what we could do. And once again, with all that being said, let's finally jump into this. Of course, we're doing events from both Zorozlab 2 and 3. Let's do this, everybody. And yes, I know you can see that down there. It's 2:51. Why am I recording this late in the night? Oh boy, why do I do this to myself? To start off, we have the New Year's party of 2021 in Zorozlab 2, because we didn't do anything for Zorozlab 3 yet, at least until June. So for the good first half of this video, I think is Zorozlab 2. Anyway, with all that being said, I have it paused here just because it shows most of the event, so I'll keep it that way. Point is, again, New Year's party of 2021. It started on December 31st, 2020, and was originally meant to end on January 7th of 2021. But it actually ended 6 days later on January 13th, alongside the entire Christmas party itself for 2020. Yeah, this is where things started. This year actually started to be kind of a phase where events would get delayed. Yeah, you should actually realize that, because that is the case. But the point is, this New Year's party, like all other New Year's parties, the only room decorated was, of course, the rooftop, as we could see here. And I'm not joking. Even this year in 2022, if you guys saw, that was also the case. Every year, it's pretty much become tradition at this point. Point is, the whole roof was all covered in light gray, at least decorated all in light gray, even the dance floor. And there was just so much going on with this. And with that being said, not really much to say about this. It was just a New Year's mini event as always. They're usually normally pretty small, so we can move on pretty much immediately. Next up, guys, is the Zorozlab 6th anniversary party. It started on January 13th, originally meant to start on January 15th, but the Christmas party ended a week late, so I started it 2 days early because of that reason. Because we would have only had 2 days of downtime, and that would have been no time at all, so I guess I started it 2 days early. But yeah, it started on January 13th. Thankfully, this year in 2022, I actually started the anniversary day on the day I actually was meant to for this party right here. January 15th, as I promised in that video. And I delivered! I'll talk about that party for the 7th anniversary next year. Point is, oh boy, this one was pretty epic. This party featured an epic twist where all of the decorations were custom room designs showing what events were coming to Zorozlab 2 in 2021. Personally, that has to be my most creative idea at the time. Seriously, that seriously had to be my most creative idea at the time. Because, again, it showed what was coming to Zorozlab 2 in 2021. Oh boy, I don't think we're ever going to see something like that ever again, but you never know. Oh boy, it was insane. And what's crazy is that some of these rooms that were featured in this party actually did come back as those actual room designs in their respective events. Originally in the video right here for the 6th anniversary party, I said that they wouldn't, but I changed my mind later on in the year when releasing all these events. The entire lab was decorated to dedicate every single event in 2021. Now, the problem, speaking of all of those events, a majority of those events were delayed till later in that year. And I'll tell you why now. This has to be the stupidest thing I think we had ever done, and is probably why this had to be one of the weaker years in Zorozlab 2 and 3. At least event-wise, number of events. Oh boy, you guys ready to see how stupid it was to what we accidentally did that caused all of these events that were featured in this video to come in 2021 to be all delayed? Oh, dude, this was so stupid and I'm so glad we don't do it anymore. Remember, I never actually told you the full length of the 6th anniversary party, and I didn't want to reveal it immediately because, oh my god, this was so stupid. So the event in general, it started January 13th, and ended May 2nd! May 2nd! This was the stupidest thing we ever did. Apparently, we completely forgot about Zorozlab 2 and 3 for 4 months straight. We completely forgot to update them for 4 freaking months. For the months of February, March, and April of 2021, we never touched both Zorozlab 2 and 3. Which meant this party stayed all the way until May 2nd of 2021. Don't worry, guys, that is never happening again. That was a one-time thing to never happen again. That was by complete accident, as we completely forgot to update the labs after January. The original end date for the Zorozlab 6th anniversary party was January 27th. Originally the 29th if it started on its correct day. Now, however, that explains why the majority of the events that were meant to be held throughout February, March, and April all were delayed till later in the year. Now, the events such as the Valentine's Day party, the St. Patrick's Day and Pi Day party, the April Fool's Day party / Easter, because they were both 3 days apart last year, and the Earth Day party were all not held due to this because we never updated the labs in February, March, or April of 2021, as I said earlier. So all of those events were skipped, making 2021 the first year that we ever skipped out on an April Fool's Day party, an Easter egg scavenger hunt, and an Earth Day party altogether. Don't worry, guys, they are back this year in 2022 because we are back on track. And we're actually, going to take down the anniversary party when it was meant to. And the 7th anniversary party ends January 20th, with the winter party starting immediately that day. And yes, Live Doom 5th anniversary right there. Yeah, there was a problem with a majority of these events even after they were delayed. Let me go into Live Doom, because well, this anniversary party ended in May. So it was pretty much time for Lab of Doom. Speaking of which, Lab of Doom 2021, aka the 5-year anniversary celebration of Lab of Doom. It was originally meant to start on May 1st, 2021. However, at the time, we were transferring both Zorozlab 2 and 3 to Rose Crystal's current computer that she still uses today. We didn't get it done until May 2nd, however. And then at that point, we finally updated the lab again and took down the 6th anniversary party for Zorozlab. And then we immediately set up Lab of Doom. It was the 5th anniversary celebration at the time. So it started May 2nd, 2021. And the point of this event, well, it was 5 years since Lab of Doom was first introduced to Zorozlab 2. Or just Zorozlab in general. Just the Zorozlab, series as a whole. So, instead of Evil Sheet Leader going absolutely insane, like he always does with Lab of Doom, and going all nuts with all the attacks, instead, it was a celebration to celebrate the history of Lab of Doom over the last 5 Lab of Dooms that had occurred prior to 2021. And I will admit, this was probably for the better. Purposely, I think we were all starting to come to a realization that we were holding this event way too much. Now, granted, that's one of the main reasons it's not coming back again this year. Because I think we've held this event, quite enough. And also, Evil Sea Leader was starting to run out of ideas for attacks. That was one of the main reasons. And then we also realized it was 5 years. Fun fact, speaking of which, Lab of Doom was originally not meant to come back in 2021. As I originally announced in 2020 that one would be the last Lab of Doom to occur. And then CoolKid33 reminded me that 2021 was the 5-year anniversary of Lab of Doom. And then that made me realize we need to do a 5-year anniversary celebration. So here we are. We did a 5-year anniversary celebration of Lab of Doom. This is the last Lab of Doom to occur for a long time. Most likely for another 3 years. At least 3 years from now in 2022. That would be 2025. So I'm pretty sure that we're not going to be seeing another Lab of Doom until then, most likely. And this is going to be for the better because finally, after 6 or 7 years, we can finally come up with a new May event. Although this year is actually just 2 repeat events that haven't been seen in years. So, yeah. Point is, this was a fun time. There was one attack from the past 5 Lab of Dooms. Specifically, on the outside of the lab, there was the Freezatron from 2016. In the lab office and flower shop was the Flood from 2017. In the underground party room was the Hacked Beacons from 2018. In 2019 on the roof was the Eclipse. And in 2020, the HQ was flooded by lava from 2020. And there was nothing for 2021 since this was a 5-year anniversary celebration. So yeah. Anyway, with all of that being said, just like the Lab 6th anniversary celebration, don't worry, it didn't go for as long, but the original end date for Lab of Doom 2021 5th anniversary celebration edition, I guess, that's what you would like to call it. It was, since it started a day late on May 2nd, it was originally going to end May 15th if it started on May 1st. So since it started a day later, May 16th would have been the end date. And then I never made the video because I couldn't get into the lab at the time. And then weeks and weeks passed by. And it finally ended on June 16th because I finally could make a video. Because I just gave up on trying to get in and just did it by pictures. Which is what this footage on screen is right now. So with that being said, yeah, June 16th. Oh, and you bet we took a long hiatus after that. Because the next event to occur required me to do something for a few months. And for those curious, and for those who do remember that, you're probably knowing what I'm about to bring up. This next event that I'm about to bring up took 2 months to prepare for. And for those who remember, that was none other than the Fair of 2021. This had to be one of the coolest fairs we have ever held in Zorozlab 2. This was the first fair since 2015 to be based off of opening a theme park. Actually, sorry, my mistake. 2016, because we opened another Zorozlab theme park in Zorozlab 2 at the time. So never mind. This was the first fair in 5 years since 2016 to be based off of opening a theme park in the lab. But the first original one was 2015 when we opened up the original Zorozlab theme park. But the point is, this was based off of the return of the Zorozlab theme park after nearly 4 years of it being gone. And oh boy, I think we did an incredible job. The theme park itself was completely redone and did not look the exact same way. However, in a way, if I pull up the footage, this is what it looked like. This was freaking epic. It was a combination between the 4 classic parks from the 2015 Zorozlab 1 theme park, including the Pirate Park, Western Park, Galaxy Park, and Medieval Park. But the difference was that they were redone entirely. This was due to the fact that I couldn't remember their original designs. So I decided to redo them entirely to look entirely brand new. However, that wasn't it. What I also brought back were the 3 parks from the 2016 Zorozlab 2 theme park. And unlike the other 4 parks I just mentioned, these all retain their original designs, as you could have clearly told. We have, of course, the roller coaster park, random park, and water park all in their original designs, unlike the other 4 parks. That's because I actually had video footage of these 3 parks, such as this, and this. Now, with that being said, this theme park project, and yeah, it took me from July 7th, 2021, all the way until August 15th for me to be complete with this project. And you could clearly tell, this took me nearly over a month. This took me over a month to complete. And I am still proud of it to this very day. Seriously, we have the theme park entrance right here, which is a throwback, at least that sheep head right there, that is a sheep stage, which is a callback to the original Zorozlab 1 theme park from 2015. That's the only thing that we brought back from that, besides the 4 original parks being remastered entirely. So yeah, it took nearly over a month and a half to build this entire theme park, and I'm still proud of it to this day. And that meant the fair started on August 15th and came to an end on August 26th. It was originally meant to end August 25th, but I forgot to take it down that day, so I did it the day after on August 25th. August 26th. There we go. Another reason is that's because August 25th was the Back to Video's 5th anniversary day, so I dedicated the whole day to that, which is why I forgot to take it down on August 25th, so on August 26th I did so. This event was meant to occur originally from, well, March 19th to April 2nd alongside the Best Party Awards. Now, although the Best Party Awards did not come in this party, it was only the fair to celebrate the theme park returning. March 19th to April 2nd is when this party was originally meant to occur. And did I mention the original plot of the Fair 2021 was not meant to be about the theme park returning. It was meant to be something completely different. And that will be what will be implemented in the Fair 2022 this July. Next up, guys, had to be one of my personal favorite events of the year besides the fair, the Summer Jam Ultimate. Just like Zorozlab's 6th anniversary party where I designed all the rooms as the events coming in the year, this also had to be one of my most creative ideas as well. This event, as I said earlier, was a combination between the Summer Jam and the Underwater Expedition, all being in one event. But there was a major twist. This event actually merged 2 timelines together. The June 9th, 2016 time period, which was later visited in Operation Zorozlab in December, and also the July 31st, 2016 time period. which the June 9, 2016 time period was the Summer Jam 2016, and the July 31st, 2016 time period was the Underwater Expedition of 2016. One of the main reasons these two events were merged together was mainly due to the fact that they were so similar to each other. Now, all these years, why they were always separate was because, well, honestly, they kind of were meant to be separate. But this, in 2021, did mark the 5-year anniversary of these two events. So why not merge them together to celebrate? Now, unlike all the other events in 2021, this was one of the only events that actually occurred in its correct month. At least the Summer Jam did. The Underwater Expedition, we actually had to wait after it not occurring originally in February. The Summer Jam, I think, was the only event out of everything in the entire year to actually occur in the right month. Except it started exactly a week late. Speaking of which, it started on August 26th, originally August 25th, but that was the Back to Reveal's 5th anniversary day. I was busy that day for that reason. So August 26th, and ended on September 5th. The Summer Jam was originally meant to start on August 19th, with it only just being the Summer Jam. And yes, what you're seeing on screen right now, we will get to later, as those were also pretty cool. And anyway, point is, my god though, Summer Jam Ultimate was freaking awesome. As I said earlier, it was a mix between the first Summer Jam and Underwater Expeditions in June and July of 2016. Which means there were rooms from those two events in this event. Which was seriously awesome. As I thought we would never see these types of rooms again. But hey, we did. And again, we did go back to June 9th of 2016 in Operation Zorozlab 2021 on December 5th. Technically, it was recorded December 6th. But the point remains. This was way too much fun at the time. And I don't know if we're ever going to be seeing this again. But I will tell you, it was so much fun at the time. So yes, rooms from both events in their respective first ever year of 2016. I still cannot get over how epic that was. And remember how I said earlier that some of those rooms from the 6th anniversary of Zorozlab would come to their respective events later on in the year? Well, you probably can already recognize that one. Anyway, for the point of the Summer Jam, if you hadn't read the sign in the video earlier, it stated that that the Summer Jam 2016 timeline has been affected by changing 7 of the rooms to new 2021 designs. And the Underwater Expedition 2016 timeline has been affected by Evil Sheet Leader's underwater flooded tower. So a mix of 2 completely different timelines in ZL2 history. So that was the main point of this event, but it was also mainly to celebrate 5 years of these two events respectively. Now, what was also really cool in this event, that there were also some rooms for events that were also meant to occur that year but never did. For example, there was originally meant to be a water party held in July of 2021, and it would have featured this room. But it didn't happen due to the fact that I was working on the new theme park at the time. So because it wasn't held in July, I put this room in the Summer Jam Ultimate to make up for the fact and to prove that I still kind of remembered it at the time. So I will admit that was still a nice touch. And remember how I said earlier that this very room right here would have returned in that party? Yep, I wasn't joking. And rooms from the Underwater Expedition 2016 also were here too. Speaking of the Underwater Expedition, Evil Sheet Leader's underwater flooded tower. Holy frick, this was one of the cooler ideas I think Evil Sheet Leader had came up with at the time. This so fit the Underwater Expedition idea at the time. And you bet the missions were also pretty cool. Speaking of which, to even get into the tower itself, you needed to find out and remember what year was the first Underwater Expedition ever held. And as we all know, that was 2016. However, if you did not know what the code was, and if you still wanted to go into the tower really badly, there was also a secret entrance to get in there. Seriously. And here's footage to prove that that was not a joke. There was a secret way to get into the tower with that you could have bypassed the code if you didn't know what it was. And this was insane. And as you can see right here, that clearly proved it. See? A secret entrance was made. This was removed after the event respectively, as the tower was gone. Speaking of the tower itself, every few days you got to go up to different floors of the tower. It was super, super cool. There was an underwater maze, a glow squid and drowned zombie battle, an elder guardian battle, and of course defeating Evil Sheet Leader himself. The tower was blown up after. Literally. Oh boy, that was a fun time. However, we weren't done with Evil Sheet Leader just yet. Cause only 3 days later, he came back immediately for revenge and covered the lab in vines. Hence going into our next event, the Adventure Party. This was the first one to occur outside of Zorozlab 3, which was pretty epic at the time. However, what the actual event of September was Operation Evil Sheet Leader 2021. Yup, Operation Evil Sheet Leader came back, but it was a bit different. Very similarly to how Operation Evil Cluck 2021 played out on Label Island earlier that year. However though, the Adventure Party was originally meant to occur from June 17th to July 1st of 2021, originally. But that was obviously before all the other events of the year got delayed, including this one. But it finally happened from September 5th to the 12th. And the room from the Zorozlab 6th anniversary party was here too. The main point of this event was to burn down all of the vines that Evil Sheet Leader covered the lab in. And my god, this was way too much fun. Seriously, it really was way too much fun at the time. Burning down all of those vines that Evil Sheet Leader created for him to cover the lab in, it was way too much fun to burn them all down. And we probably won't be doing this again because there's generally no point. But it was still very fun back then. There were 7 missions total, all occurring in 7 different areas around the lab. The lab was also decorated in a pretty cool adventure theme. And that's all I have to say about this event. Moving on. Next up was HQ Expedition 2021. In this event, while a majority of the rooms came from the original 2016 HQ Expedition due to that 2021 being 5 years since the HQ Expedition ever became a thing, even though we did this 2 months beforehand, this was actually a really fun HQ Expedition. And this time, we actually treated it like the actual name of the event itself, HQ Expedition, where in the event, we actually hunted down the pieces of the Lab of Doom HQ, as, well, Evil Sheet Leader did this to it. Because of this, we had to go into the wilderness of Zorozlab 2 to find all of the pieces to rebuild the Lab of Doom HQ. And well, we definitely did do that because as time went on, the HQ kept getting more and more rebuilt. However, in the actual event, it was never actually complete. At least until November, that is. Yeah, I forgot to mention, the actual event itself, it started on September 12th and was originally meant to end September 19th, but when it actually was originally meant to occur was originally April 23rd to May 7th of 2021, and it would have followed that exact same storyline there. But the event actually happened from September 12th and ended October 8th. Yeah, just like the Zorozlab 6th anniversary celebration, we completely forgot to update the lab after this point. So it stayed until October 8th. What was originally meant to occur in September if Operation Evil Sheet Leader never happened was, well, what we're about to talk about next. The Rainbow Party! It was originally meant to be from September 23rd to October 7th. However, Operation Evil Sheet Leader occurred during the time, because most of the events in that event were meant to occur earlier that year. So, instead, the Rainbow Party started on October 8th and ended the 21st. This had to be one of the smaller rainbow parties in my opinion. First off, this was the first rainbow party since 2016 to not feature Rainbow Road. Also, not even a majority of the lab was decorated. Actually, I don't think the rooms were ever actually fully... I don't think we had every single room done, so that was kind of a shame. But either way, this was kind of a cool rainbow party. It was a smaller one. Yes, I will admit that. It was a bit of a smaller one. But it was still pretty cool at the time. So in the event, as always, we had the usual rainbow path with the skies. And of course, if you touch the blue, it'll feel like you fell out of the sky. You know that again from 2019. I think this was actually the first time in 2 years that even came back in Zorozlab 2. This was also at the time when we were starting Halloween construction. And we'll get to the Halloween event in just a minute. But what else was there to talk about here? Okay, never mind. I completely forgot there were a majority of rooms decorated in this event. Never mind. Yeah, the roof had to be personally my favorite room, besides the front of the lab. Oh yeah, and the thunderstorm sky was here at the time because it was preparing for Halloween. Made sense, because it was October at the time at this party, when it was originally meant to occur in September. This was also one of the first rainbow parties to have a lack of decorations in a majority of the rooms. Now, what's crazy is that we're not even getting a rainbow party this year in 2022. If you heard in the event schedule, there is no rainbow party. That's because I think we just want to, I guess, take this year off, I guess. But the point is, this was one of the rainbow parties where there was a lack of decoration in a majority of the rooms. And this room right here on screen was from the 6th anniversary party of Zorozlab from January. That, was one of the longest events of the whole year. Hence why a majority of the events got delayed. But no, really though, I will admit right now, it was a cool rainbow party, but I feel we could have done a lot better. Well, I guess there's always 2023, since I guess we're taking this year off because I want to focus on events that haven't occurred in years. So yeah. I will admit though, a lot of the rooms I did make in the rainbow party were pretty cool though, but a majority of them were just the banners. We could have done way better than that. Granted, this also could have been because I held the event late and kind of lost my creativity for the event, I guess. That probably is true, actually. I'm actually probably not going to lie about that. That probably is one of the cases as to why that's true. I will admit, though, still a cool rainbow party. The items were pretty cool. And, yeah, since there's not going to be one this year in 2022, as I said, I guess the next one is in 2023, I guess. Moving on, however. Next up was the Halloween party of 2021. And this event actually occurred when it was meant to, with the exact dates. It started on October 21st and ended October 4th. It originally had an end date of November 1st because on that day we would have done Elemental Month. But then I eventually canceled it due to it being pretty much pointless. So then I changed the Halloween party end date to the original end date I had, which was November 4th. And, well, it worked. My god, though, this was one of the cooler Halloween parties. I can't believe that we actually pulled off something so cool. This was the first Halloween party since 2015 to do something important regarding the candy stations. And that was so cool. It was a complete trick-or-treating theme. And the entire lab was decorated with sweets. This was extremely cool at the time. And, well, I don't know if we're doing that again for this year's. Comment down below if you at least want me to add a little bit of it into this year's. But, I don't know. We'll see. I don't even know what this year's is going to be based off of. Maybe just back to a traditional Halloween party, like all the other years. Because 2020 and 2021 and 2019 were all based off of something. Actually, sorry, 2018 was also based off of something. So we haven't had a traditional Halloween party where it's just whatever we want with no main theme for like. This is gonna. I think this year is gonna be the first one in 5 years to have that where there's like no theme, like where there's no scary theme involved. But point is, we'll look forward to that in October. But back to last year. One of the coolest things in this party was that all of the skyscraper challenges were actually completely different. Finally, after all of those years of having the same challenges, we finally got some brand new ones. And oh boy, it was epic, and you know we're going to be getting some new ones again in 2022. I want to keep it up, and I'm pretty sure you guys would want me to do that as well. But yes, after many, many years of just the usual same challenges over and over every single year, we finally got some new challenges. And it was awesome, and they were all about lighting up candles. And also another end rod maze, although it actually was the lightning rod maze this year in 2021. But my god, this had to be one of the more creative years for the skyscraper, and as you could clearly see in this footage, it proved that we were not messing around anymore. Oh, and no, we were not messing around at the time. We were actually finally getting serious again with this stuff. And oh boy, thank God we were. But yeah, with that being said, this was one of the more creative years for the skyscraper, and I'm proud of it because we really did something that wasn't actually just the same godforsaken thing every single year. Ah, thank God. See? It wasn't the end rod maze for once. It was the lightning rod maze, and this time it was actually difficult. Oh, thank God it was, because it was finally time to add in some challenge with this. Literally, you can clearly see in the footage. It proves that this was a hard maze because it's so narrow. Literally, it's so tight and narrow. This was one of the more difficult challenges. While the top of the skyscraper had nothing like usual, at least the other 3 challenges were completely different. This event also saw the return of the Bigger the Season 2 house, the Halloween design from 2016. That was seriously awesome. It was nice to see that again after 5 years. The lab was decorated with all new Halloween designs, and it was seriously awesome. The backyard, for example, as you could clearly have seen here. Yeah, this was completely different. The backyard originally I never had planned to decorate, but I did it anyway because why not at the time. And oh boy, I am glad I did it. It looked epic when I finished it. Like all of the other Halloween parties, the lab was completely dark and spooky, with tons of awesome, spooky and scary rooms as always. Except this time they were all brand new. Thank God. Well, except for one, and that was this. This was a throwback to the 2015 Halloween party. However, it was redesigned to look more like the modern day lab for Rose Crystal's room. And yes, there was something in there that did make a return in this party. We'll get to that later. This was the only room to return during this party besides the lab office and the front of the lab just being redesigned. You know, where the front door of the lab is. You know, this part of the lab. That was from 2016, except for the minor changes with the, costume board. Well, catalog. Besides that, all of the rooms were brand new designs. Especially this one. This had to be one of my personal favorites. It was a remake of the candy corn room from 2019, but in honey. That was pretty cool at the time. These were so many cool... There were so many awesome rooms for Halloween back then. And some rooms didn't actually come till week 2. Not going to get into that because we'll be here forever. Now, what made a return during this party from the Halloween party of 2015 that had never been seen since that party was, well, the one and only Secret Lab Basement. The last time we ever saw this place was the Halloween party of 2015. So it was awesome to see this room return at the time. And it's still here to this day. And also is featured now in the 7th anniversary party of Zorozlab. And also was in the Zorozlab 2 Worlds Rebuild celebration. Besides that, it was awesome to see this room return at the time. And it'll definitely be used again for Halloween in October. This party also marked the return of my house returning in the world of Zorozlab 2. So that was awesome. This had to be one of the best Halloween parties I think we had ever held. Because there was so much in it. And my God, this had to be, again, one of the more creative Halloween parties. There was just so much to do in this party. And I'm proud for how much I put into it. I don't know how I'm going to top last year's, but we'll see how it happens when we get into October. We'll see how it goes when we get into October. for 2022. Either way, let's move on from this event and move on to November. This next event is a mini event. It was the Evil Sheet Leader's 6th anniversary celebration. It started on November 5th and only lasted that one day. Sorry, correction. It actually lasted for an entire week. I think ending on the 12th. There we go. That's better. That's actually the truth. Basically, there's not really much to say about this event. The whole point of this event was to obviously celebrate the 6th anniversary of Evil Sheet Leader right here. And for a very fun throwback, it was held in the Zorozlab, Evil Sheet Leader's old base. You know, the old base he had before the one he has today in present day from 2018. The reason it was held in here was because we wanted to do a bit of a throwback. Because why not at the time? It was pretty epic. Of course, Polar Bear Leader joined alongside because, you know, he works with Evil Sheet Leader, as we all know. But seriously though, this was an epic event at the time. Even though it was meant to only be a one-day event, eventually it turned into a whole week because I never took it down, despite how small it was. But either way, it was seriously cool at the time. And yes, those banners from Lab of June 2019 made a return at the time, and were also items during that party. That was actually pretty cool at the time. There's not really much to say about this event, so I guess we'll move on. The good part about it was back in Evil Sheet Leader's old base. That was a nice throwback at the time. We had finally done it. After 4 long years of trying to rebuild the world of Zorozlab 2 after the November 23rd, 2017 corruption, on November 27th, we finally completed the world of having it fully rebuilt, and a celebration was technically held on November 23rd, exactly 4 years after the corruption originally happened. As you would expect, it was a massive celebration to celebrate the entire world being put back together after 4 long years. And oh boy, it was so worth holding this event, because a lot happened in this party. The entire lab was decorated as a gigantic celebration for this happening, and all temporary rooms from Zorozlab 2 made a return, and, well, it was pretty epic at the time. Oh yeah, speaking of what you can see on screen right now, Operation Dimensions and HQ Expedition. Remember how I said earlier HQ Expedition was never finished? It was finished here in this event, thankfully. The prehistoric and future worlds were originally meant to return during this party, but they didn't because we completely forgot, and we still have not done that to this very day. We should really do that soon. Maybe we might make a cool celebration out of that when they return. You know, if we all ever get them transferred at some point. Just gotta find rose crystals at really old laptop. The point is, yeah, this event was one of the more exciting events of the month, or just the year. Some rooms from past celebrations, such as the End of War celebration from June 2017, which all of these rooms did make a return. Well, the rooms from that event made a return during the 7th anniversary party of Zorozlab in January 2022. While another room from the War of 2017, the End of War celebration, from February 2017, this room on the roof made a return in celebration because we wanted to bring back some rooms from past celebrations because this was a mega celebration at the time for the whole entire lab. And it was seriously epic. And you're probably thinking, for this, despite this being a huge celebration about the lab, you're going to be surprised, but not the entire lab was decorated. Oh, and there were also some rooms leading back to the early days of the rebuild, which honestly was a very smart idea on my part. For example, we had the Snowland room from November of 2017 after the lab was rebuilt. The inside of the lab. The Ore Room grand opening made a return, at least that room. So that was pretty cool at the time. So yeah, even though not even the whole lab was decorated, that was quite a surprise back then, when not even the whole lab was decorated. Despite this being a celebration about the lab, you'd think the whole lab would be decorated, but it wasn't. Like I said, all temporary rooms did make a return during this party to obviously celebrate the world being back together. And you bet it was worth it. And remember how I said that this room would eventually return later on. Everything returned. This was one of the coolest celebrations we ever did in Zorozlab 2. And this also, fun fact, was the first November event since 2017 to not be an operation event. Or just a mission-based event. I'm not even joking. It was about time. And don't worry, the same thing applies again this year too. Now, while events such as HQ Expedition and Operation Dimensions were never finished earlier in the year, we actually were able to finish them during this event. And we did. As follows. HQ Expedition from September was indeed finished during this party. And it felt very great to finally finish that. Operation Dimensions, on the other hand, an event that was originally meant to occur in February 2018, then was replaced by Operation Dome, then would have occurred in November 2020, but we never had an event that month, and then would have occurred in April 2021 alongside HQ Expedition, and then in September during Operation Evil Sheep Leader, that never happened, was finally available to occur during the Zorozlab 2 World Rebuild celebration. Jeez, that was a lot of delays, but hey, it finally happened. Yes! This had to be the coolest event we had ever done in Zorozlab 2 history, at least in 2021, because it really showed that we actually did care about the world being rebuilt again after all these years. It started on November 23rd and was originally meant to end on November 30th. However, because I never made the video yet at the time, it actually ended on December 3rd/4th. Speaking of December 4th, yes, it was finally time at the time for Operation Zorozlab, an event that was originally meant to occur at the very beginning of the year on January 25th through February 6th, but it didn't happen because, well, you guessed it, Zorozlab's 6th anniversary event went on for way too long. And also we got a bit busy with stuff back then. But finally in December, while Rose Crystal was on winter break, we finally had the chance to do it. And oh boy, it was epic. However, though, we never actually finished it. Yeah, I still apologize about that. Anyway, just like Operation Legos Island, the exact same storyline pretty much occurs. Or at least applies here. The difference is that Master Evil Lingers took over the timelines and not Evil Cluck. Like Operation Legos Island, we go back in time to various versions of Zorozlab 2 and 3. Like I said before, it wasn't complete. We only did the ones based off of Zorozlab 2, as we never got to do Zorozlab 3 because we forgot at the time. I still apologize. And remember how I said earlier in the video that we would go back to June 9, 2016? There was your proof, right just there. But my god, this was seriously awesome. Master Evil Lingers, well, actually, sorry, my mistake. His self from 2018, I never thought why that would be the case, but okay. His 2018 self decided to destroy a lot of the Zorozlab 2 time periods, and Zorozlab 3 as well. We started off by going back to September 29th, 2015, which was the very day of Zorozlab 2 even being created itself. That was pretty cool at the time. On December 5th, we went to June 9th, 2016, which as I said, we would have gone to later in the year after the Summer Jam Ultimate in this event. So I told you guys I wasn't joking there earlier. Either way, it was pretty cool at the time, because that was the time of the first ever Summer Jam. And I'm not going to lie, that was pretty epic to re-explore at the time. Either way, it was super cool to see this again, even though we literally had only just seen it at the Summer Jam Ultimate earlier that year. But the actual full event itself this time. That was pretty cool. On December 6th, we went to February 27th, 2017, which was the day the Zorozlab 3 party originally began that year. And oh boy, it was seriously cool seeing this event again. And yeah, now going to this time period actually gave me the idea to do the event again in 2022, due to this February being 5 years since Zorozlab 3 was originally created. And, well, that's still true because we are still doing that event this coming February. It's pretty awesome. And that will apply in both Zorozlab 2 and 3. Because why not? It was nice seeing this event again. On December 8th, we went to March 29th, 2019. Wait, did I? Oh, hopefully I said March 18th, 2019. Yeah, March 18th, 2019. Hopefully I said that correctly. And as you know, that was the day Zorozlab 2 officially returned fully and has been with us since, thankfully. And, well, the only missions we never did in this event included missions, 4, 6, and 7. We only did missions 1, 2, 3, and 5. So, yeah. Either way, this day had to be included in this event because that was a very special, iconic day. And it was cool to see this place again. I mean, it had to be in there clearly because that was one of the most iconic days in the lab's history. It was nice going back there because of how freaking special it was. And that wraps up this event since we never finished it. Rip. And finally, but not least, the Christmas party. My God, this was a big one. And this event actually did set the record for the biggest Christmas party of all time. I'll get into why that is now. So for those who don't remember, after Operation Zorozlab ended, Master Evil Oinkers buried Zorozlab 2 in snow. So I came up with the creative idea to use them all for a Christmas-themed festival of snow around the Christmas party. And well, it worked! Because there were snow sculptures all over the place. So it was a Christmas-themed festival of snow all over the lab. Like I said, it worked. And it was seriously awesome at the time. Oh my God, that 2021 had to be my personal favorite right there. Seriously, that had to be my personal favorite right there. But yeah, also, the front of the lab was a throwback to 2016's Christmas party from exactly 5 years prior. Because, why not? It was nice to have a little throwback. That set list was a throwback to 2016, besides the bottom 3. But, either way, not only was this a Christmas-themed festival of snow around the whole lab, and not only was the lab buried in so much snow during this party, like holy frick, I'm not even joking. Wait for it. Yep! There was so much snow during this party, and also the Christmas tree was located in the backyard this time. It was pretty cool. Now, as for the actual inside of the lab, take a look. It was completely different this year. Oh yeah, and this was from the 6th anniversary of Zorozlab event, because that was originally going to be the original theme of the Christmas event for a Christmas Paradise theme, until I changed it. This room right here was from 2016 back then, because I also implemented a few 2016 themed rooms in this party because it had been 5 years at the time. But either way, it was still basically a Christmas themed festival of snow. And that I had to put in because of the Creations World episode a few days prior to making this video. At least the Christmas party video. And the bakery had more than just one floor during this party. It actually had 3. That was seriously cool at the time. And I literally mean really freaking awesome. So yes, while there were snow sculptures all over the lab to celebrate the Christmas themed festival of snow, pretty much the whole lab was also decorated in a very, very festive way, as always with all other Christmas parties. And this was the first time since 2018 that the snow forts were actually located inside. At least those ones, the red and blue ones. So that was a pretty cool twist at the time. All Christmas activities from the previous Christmas party made a return. And it was seriously awesome. Now, you're probably all wondering, again, how did this get so huge? Well, as I said earlier, on December 23rd, 2021, exactly a week after the party began, I decided to decorate the rest of Zorozlab 2 for Christmas. I didn't need to do this, but I did anyway. And it was definitely worth it. Making this Christmas party the biggest Christmas party of all time in terms of decorated rooms. Literally, the entire world was decorated. And I could not be more pleased. It was one of the best things I think I had ever done for a Christmas party. And I do not know how we're going to top off last year's. I think that was one of the best Christmas parties of all time. It was the biggest one, and probably even the best one as well. There was just so much implemented. Literally, I'm not even joking. The entire world was decorated starting on week 2. Literally, starting in week 2 on December 23rd, the entire world was decorated. And it was freaking awesome. This was also the first party to have my house officially decorated for an event, which was pretty sweet. Actually, for a majority of places around the world of Zorozlab 2, it was also the first time that a majority of these rooms were decorated for an event and for Christmas overall. There was so much in this. Seriously, I did not expect to go this crazy, but I did anyway, and I am still seriously proud of it. Obviously, it's all gone now because the event did end on December 27th. Yes, speaking of which, the party began on December 16th and came to an end on December 27th, making it not only the biggest Christmas party of all time, but also the shortest one of all time. Yep, the reason it was that short was because there was so much going on at the lab at the time that we were getting pretty much almost no downtime at the time of this party occurring. So I decided to shorten it because we had so many events going on. It was non-stop events all over again. And I didn't want that to happen again. Pretty sure Rose Crystal also didn't want that to happen either. So I shortened the Christmas party to prevent it from going way too long. And also after how long the previous Christmas party went on in 2020. I already explained this in a previous video, but I'll say it again there. This was awesome. Oh, and do you really think we're done there? Oh no, don't worry. Last year, in 2020, we did not have the present update. This year, however, the present update made a return after 2 long years. Oh god, it felt so good to have that back. But that cannot be the only thing that made this party extremely huge. Not only was the entire world of Zorozlab 2 decorated starting on week 2, and not only did we get the present update back after 2 years, but there was one more thing that truly made this the biggest / best Christmas party of all time. And that was none other than the fact that after all of these years, we finally got to see Santa Sheep's home. I'm not joking. This was actually serious. We got to explore Santa Sheep's home. It took only 6 years, but we finally did it. And oh boy, it was so worth it. We finally got to see where Santa Sheep is the entire year. And you bet it's back this year in 2022. All Christmas parties going forward, starting in 2021, will have this feature where we get to go to Santa Sheep's home. Well, I bet that would have already been obvious, but I just want to inform you just in case. But yeah, that probably would have already been obvious, though. Because it was super epic last year. Why not do that? We got to see Santa Sheep's workshop, where he is all year. And this was one of the most epic things to ever come out of a Christmas party. Except we got one more to talk about. Yeah, I completely forgot that we never talked about Zorozlab 3 the entire time. And yes, I know, that's really late. Why do I do this to myself? I am definitely sleeping for many, many hours after this. Thankfully, there's only 2 events in Zorozlab 3 for 2021, so let's get those over with now. On June 10th, 2021, we finally had the event called Operation Galaxy. It was an event where we could explore planets across the Zorozlab 3 galaxy. And it was freaking awesome. we finally got to explore some epic planets across the Zorozlab free universe, and as the months went on, we got to see a ton more of them. Literally. I'm not even joking. This was an epic event at the time. And, well, it'll never happen again since it's only a one-time thing. Since we would have already had all the planets by now. Either way, this was so much fun. It ended towards around the end of the end of 2021. I don't know the exact time, but it definitely ended towards, I think, around the Christmas party. So, that happened. Like I said, as the months went on, we explored tons of awesome planets across the Zorozlab free universe. Such as the Underwater Galaxy, which was a beach on top, and then underwater on the bottom, hence the name. But it was so freaking cool at the time. I mean, seriously, this was cool at the time. I mean, look at this. I never thought I'd see this happen here. Like I said, later on, we explored a ton more planets even after Underwater Galaxy. There were planets such as the Maze Galaxy, which, as the name implies, a huge maze. And that was pretty epic. The other galaxy we had was Mushroom Galaxy. And also, as the name implies, basically a galaxy about mushrooms. A mushroom-themed planet filled with mushroom houses, mushroom trees, and just so much that really did happen. It was seriously really freaking cool. And then we didn't have another galaxy after that point. We never had another planet after this. We'll definitely have some in the future. I promise. We'll get back to doing more planets in the future because I never actually built all of them. I'm going to show you guys those in the future. Definitely look out for that in the future. The other event to occur in Zorozlab 2 for Zorozlab 3 for 2021 was the Christmas party. This was the first Christmas party since 2018 here. I'm not even joking. That's serious. And oh boy, was it way better than 2018. Now, while a ton of things from that party still apply here, such as the Railroad minigame from 2018, there are so many other things about this party that truly felt awesome. It started on December 20th and was originally meant to end December 30th. However, it actually ended January 2nd. That's because I forgot to take it down. Oh well. But either way, it's still awesome. This was a combination between red and blue colors of Christmas, and it was seriously awesome. Like 2018, the Railroad donation game came back, hence why it wasn't at Zorozlab 2, because I was clearly saving it for here, which made more sense at the time as that's where it originated. Originally when it was introduced in 2018. So with that being said, it was nice to have this back again after 3 years of not doing it here. It was nice having it back, so yeah. Obviously, the place was covered in snow. Just like Zorozlab 2. But it wasn't as much. It was still covered in a lot of snow, just wasn't as much as Zorozlab 2. And, oh boy, this one right here, the one that I'm seeing in the footage right now, has to be one of my personal favorite rooms. It is the Candy Cane Mines. Yeah, this has to be one of my personal favorites. I don't know how or why, but it just did. Basically, it's basically almost the same thing as 2018, just with a few minor differences. However, this party did introduce something extremely special that is now permanent in Zorozlab 3. Check it out. That was none other than Special Zorozlab 3. That's right. Special Zorozlab 3. That had to be the coolest thing I ever could have done on Christmas. And it seriously was freaking epic at the time. Having a special version of Zorozlab 3 that all took place in space. Fun fact, it was originally going to be underground, just like the Zorozlab 2 special labs. But I thought, nah, that's just copying and pasting. And since Zorozlab 3 technically does take place in space, it made sense to do it here instead, in space. It was so cool getting this as an awesome Christmas gift. It's still here today, obviously it will be permanently, just like Zorozlab 2's special labs. And it was so cool getting this during this party because it really showed that we really were also back on track with Zorozlab free updates once and for all. And it really did show because we really are actually. Either way, this was a really cool Christmas gift. I don't know how we're ever going to top off this next year. Well, this year in 2022. Either way, we'll figure that out in December once we get there. And, well, guys, that's it. That's it. That's all of the events in 2021 for both Zorozlab 2 and 3. Wow, I am surprised that we only did it in just an hour. Even though this took like exactly 2 hours to film. We just went through 16 events. 16 of them. Isn't that insane? Or 15 or 16 events? I don't even know, but point is, we did a lot. That was a lot. Now, oh boy. The one for 2022 when we do this next year in 2023. Oh, that's going to be way longer than this since there's going to be a lot more events for both Zorozlab 2 and 3. Since we're back in action with both labs, oh, it's going to be much, much more next time. I'll see you guys later for a Sunday vlog. Oh, frick, I never did Lego's Island. Guys, I apologize. I completely apologize, guys. Sorry about no Lego's Island. That's okay. I can do it on the 16th, and then again on the 17th. That's fine. Alright. See you all in the next Saturday Stories on Saturday, January 22nd. We will do the Lego's Island events next time. I'll do the backyard events on January 29th. No big deal. See you next time. It's about time I finally got to these types of videos again this year.